Hello, second graders. It's so good to be here with you again. First, I want to say thank you for all of you who came out to the parade. It was so fun to see all your smiling faces and all the great signs that you made. It was really a pleasure. It warmed our hearts for sure. Thank you. Second, I'm going to tell you about what we're doing, the activities for this week. The read aloud set this week, each teacher is going to read one book, and I get to read the first one for you. And we're going to be exploring realistic fiction. We are also going to have a new science habitat. This week, you get to do some research and on a rainforest habitat, and there's a great video on our website to watch about that. And then there's books from Epic that are assigned to you, a collection, and you can also do research on Kittle.com. So that is this week. Then for math, we have a number of the day, and the problem of the week is about geometry and shapes. And there's a slideshow on our site that you can watch to complete the problem. It'll give you all that you need to know. And we also have, you're going to do some more research. You're going to do research on your habitat project. So you're going to be choosing a habitat of your choice, desert, ocean, grasslands, tundra, or rainforest. And you're going to fill out, we have some sheets here that you can use to do more research, find out more information, because you're going to be doing a nonfiction writing piece. But first, you write down what you know, and then you can do your research on the habitat of your choice. Then it gives you information about how you can proceed with your diorama or your three-dimensional project for your habitat. And this is where you're going to show how you're planning to do it, the materials that you're going to use, the animals and the plants you're going to include, and then you draw a little sketch here about what it might look like. So lots of fun activities this week. So let's get started on the book sets, the read alouds. The first book is Big Moon Tortilla by Joy Cowley and illustrated by Diane Strongbow. That sounds like a Native American name. So the message in this story, the author's message is told right here. And you're going to draw the setting for each story and then tell what the problem was in the story. So it says here, the author's message is, there are many ways to deal with problems. You can choose how to view a problem. You get to choose how you view a problem. And sometimes what seems like a disaster may be just a small problem that you can actually solve. So you can also learn from wise advice from older relatives. I bet you already know that. So in this story, I want you to think about this girl's problems and see if they seem real to you. Could this story really happen? Okay, let's get started. Big Moon Tortilla. By the time Marta Enos had finished her homework, the sky was orange with sunset, and fussing wind was blowing across the desert. What do you think it means by a fussing wind? Yeah, it's messing everything up and bothering everything. Marta Enos opened her window and looked outside. In the cookhouse, grandmother was making tortillas for the church supper. She slapped them into large circles and tossed them onto the iron plate over the mesquite fire. Grandmother's Big Moon tortillas were the best in the world. The head of Marta Enos was filled with knowing fresh tortillas. Oh, that sweet, crisp, little bit burnt smell. It went to Marta's stomach, which rumbled and growled, and then down to her feet, making her toes twitch towards the cookhouse. The legs of Marta Enos would not wait another minute. They were in such a hurry to run to the cookhouse that they knocked over Marta's table. And that was when the disaster happened. The homework papers with the The homework papers with their neat writing and beautiful drawings went out the window and on the breath of the fussing wind. The wind huffed and the papers high into the air. Then with a little cough, it spread them over the village. Sometimes authors describe actions by animals and nature that sound kind of like humans. The legs of Marta Enos were sorry for their mistake. They ran out to chase the homework papers, which slipped and slid like kites without strings. But the dogs too were chasing, leaping into the air. They barked to each other, "A game! A game!" In no time at all, the beautiful homework papers were torn and chewed into trash. Think that's a big problem or a small problem? The second disaster happened when Marta tried to pull a page away from a puppy. Her glasses fell off and she stepped on them. One arm of her glasses broke in half. She did not smell tortillas anymore. Her head was filled up to her eyes with grief and tears as hot as chili peppers. Ruined homework, broken glasses. Marta Enos ran to her grandmother. Why do you think she ran to her grandmother? Grandmother left her tortillas and sat down, as big as a bed and warm from the cooking. As she smoothed Marta's hair with her floured hands, she said, "Hush, hush. If you cry so much, you'll put out the fire." "The dogs ate my homework and I can't see to do any more," Marta sobbed. Grandmother rocked her. "Little problem," she said. "Too small for a big rainstorm. We'll repair your eyeglasses." But tears of Marta Enos still ran through her eyes and nose and made hiccups in her throat. What do you think Grandma means when she says too small for a big rainstorm? Yeah, lots of crying and for a problem that might be able to be solved. So Grandma sang to her an old healing song with the healing song, there was a story. When we have a problem, we must choose what we will be. Sometimes it is good to be a tree, to stand up tall in the desert and look all ways at once. Sometimes when you have a problem, you have to be strong, a strong mountain lion, fierce and ready to fight for what is right. Sometimes the wisest thing is to be an eagle and fly. When the eagle is high up, it sees how small the earth is. It sees how small the problem is, and it laughs and laughs. So the grandmother talked about suggests ways to deal with the problem. What do you think it would mean of yourself to be a tree, to be still like a rock, strong like a mountain lion, or fly high like an eagle looking down? Talk about that. Which would you choose? So grandmother wound some tape around the arm of the glasses. She put the glasses back on the nose and ears of Marta Enos. "That should be okay until we get them fixed," she said. "Now, one tortilla before supper?" Already part of the problem is solved. Grandmother pitched a ball of dough and slapped them in between her hands. Flip, flap, flip, flap, flip, flap. When it was as big and pale as a rising moon, she dropped it onto the iron plate above the red hot coals of the fire. Ah, the smell as the tortilla bubbled and browned. I have decided, said Marta Enos, her legs doing a tortilla dance. I'm going to be an eagle. Grandmother nodded. That is very wise, she said, turning the tortilla over. Fly high and laugh, then come back down and do your homework. Do you think Marta made a good decision? Why do you think she chose the eagle? I wanted to read you a note in the back of the book, too, the author's note. Listen to this. I shall never forget the time I spent at the Papago Reservation in southern Arizona near the Mexican border. This story is set in one of those small villages here. Grandmother's words of advice came from an old Native American saying, which varies slightly among the different tribes of the southern states. Like Marta Enos, perhaps you will remember grandmother's advice the next time you have a problem. To stand tall like a tree, still like a rock, strong like a mountain lion, or fly high like an eagle, looking over the small problem. Thank you for joining me. All right, until tomorrow. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.